Did you know that our society currently sleeps in something called monophase, meaning one? In ye olden days, we slept in what was called biophasic sleep, meaning two sleeps. You'd be awake twice and sleep twice during the day. One was for work and one was for family, and you would switch, allowing those that were with their families to visit shops where people were working. However, depending on the society that you lived in, the time between the two periods of sleep was called the watch. People used the watch for quiet activities. Remember that there was no electric light, and the watch normally happened during the night, so families spent the time with quiet discussions, games, and prayers, and couples enjoyed the time between themselves. Neutral Newbie 2023. This should sound familiar, because children still sleep this way. Why? Because this is the way that we are meant to sleep. Yet, due to societal pressures, since the Industrial Revolution, we've moved away from the natural ways about 50% of the population function, and towards our current societal norm of the monophase sleep. The average person gets less than 7 hours of sleep every night, and 50 to 70 million adults in the US are affected by a sleep disorder. Team 2024. My suggestion is that school and work hours should be adjusted to fit the human body and not towards the current societal standards, therefore catering to all of society. By refusing to adjust schedules to fit the human body, we are setting ourselves up for failure of financial, legal, emotional, and educational kind, as well as making life unnecessarily hard for a large portion of the population. When forced to wake up before we are ready, we are more likely to be late, causing financial, educational, and legal difficulty in things such as truancy cases. Attendance has failed to snap back and has recovered only a bit during the 2022-2023 year. More than 1 out of 4 students remain chronically absent. Barshi 2024. Of those that are present, 20 to 30% of high school students and 6% of middle school students fall asleep in school each day. McKibben 2014. Our circadian rhythms change throughout our lives, and instead of adjusting society to fit us, we have done the opposite. For example, teens and young adults need the most sleep, aside from infants, and yet this is the time that most people claim that they get the least amount of sleep. High schools reported that their average starting time was before 7:45 a.m. High school began on average at 7:30 a.m. TAE 2020. However, the shortening of sleep duration across childhood is accompanied by a delay in the phase of sleep-wake cycle, characterized by progressively later bedtimes. Carpenter J. 2015. This shows that despite needing more sleep and the increased ability to fall asleep, high school starts earlier than any other major daily task, such as schools or other jobs. Our circadian rhythms also play a large part in bonding with others our age, and by disrupting the natural sleep and wake cycles, we've disrupted our communities. A large part of this is how we view night owls. There's always been a social stigma around night owls. People see them as lazier, undisciplined, unhealthy, and immature. People assume they sleep late because they're constantly on their phones and are consequently uneducated and unproductive. Fan 2024. This includes that the businesses that they tend to visit that cater to them while being open 24 hours are seen as subpar. The jobs that require 24-hour shifts are undervalued, for example, police, truck drivers, and corrections officers, which means people don't care about the difficulties of not being able to access everyday needs without major sleep deprivation. Generally, they, in this instance being banks, are open between 8 and 9 and close by 5. Most banks are closed on weekends, though a few may be open on Saturdays. Road 2022. This makes operating as a member society a heavy burden. I say that we should change society's views towards night owls and view them less as criminals and lazy people and more as functioning members of society, and realize that early birds don't necessarily get the worm and they don't have moral superiority. We should also change school to fit the circadian rhythms of the people who go there. There is potential to improve adolescent function and academic performance with informed adjustments to school schedules. Carpenter J. 2015. We should also change the hours of operation and at least some of the businesses back to 24 hours, which will provide an equal opportunity for all shifts to access them, stability for our circadian rhythms. It will make a better community and provide work for those who are currently unemployed. The positives of this plan are that productivity would increase. We would have a more functional and happier society because our circadian rhythms would realign, and we would decrease unemployment, as well as the stigma around night owls would go away. The negatives, if we do not implement this plan, would be that late and absent children numbers would increase. The people who say they just don't want to work because it's too hard to get up in the morning would also increase. Crime will continue to be contributed to the night owl hoodlum persona. The actions that you yourselves can take are change your views. Do you think that people who wake up late are inherently bad? Do you think that the early bird does get the worm and they are smarter and better people? Well, you should change your views. You should also be more considerate of people who work later shifts when the culture constantly works against them, despite them working community-serving jobs. We should also work to change schools, sign petitions, make petitions, work on your social media, and speak at board meetings, and vote for board members who work for the same things that you do. Petition small businesses to change hours. By starting small, we can make big changes that can help affect a lot of people. Thank you for listening.